Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the planet Earth's most relevant newscast. Broadcasting from Sector 17G in the southwestern corner of the Milky Way galaxy, we present to you a program that is a strange combination of newsworthy and non-newsworthy. Funny at times and extremely non-funny at others. Ladies and gentlemen, Earthlings and Mooners, may we present to you Valemount Live.
Welcome to episode 34 of Valemount Live.
It's Thursday, July 1st, and tonight we've got a special Canada Day show.
So tonight, we're on location.
Broadcasting in Canada.
Canada is a little-known constitutional monarchy located just north of the United States of America.
Canadians like ice hockey.
Great.
Happy birthday, Canadians.
Folks, it's been several weeks since our last broadcast.
We're glad to be back.
Amen.
Here's our top story for the night.
On Monday, frustrated parents and community members occupied the Dunster Fine Arts School.
Parents were disheartened by a decision to close the school and the red tape that prevented them from setting up an alternative school in the coming fall.
It may have been the last day for students of the Dunster Fine Arts School, but for parents and community members, it was the first day of an occupation. Many in the tiny community of Dunster are frustrated by a recent decision to close the Dunster Fine Arts School.
I think it's a real loss. It's like a death to the community as far as I'm concerned. It's like losing a child. And people here are grieving, all of us, you know. But the school has been here for 94 years.
Everybody in this community, they feel the same thing. People come from outlying communities, they feel the same thing. There's some kind of magic here. And it's not that there's anything wrong with anybody else's school, but that's their school. This is our school, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, why shouldn't we have our own school? And we're not asking anybody to take it over, maintain the building. We can do all that. We can repair whatever needs to be repairing. We can mow the lawns. And I understand how expensive that is. It's, you know, but we're willing to take it all on.
So on the last day, 15 frustrated parents and community members occupied the building. A community group has been working to implement an alternative model school since news of the closure, but red tape threatens to bar access in the fall.
They put out the possibility of a Wells model, and that sounded, you know, not ideal, but a lot better than no school here at all. And then what happened was they said, oh, well, we can't possibly get it in place for this school year. Now, I think the board did not intend that. I think the board really just thought that they could sort of go, yeah, let's do Wells, and it would just work. The administration said, no, this is probably a little more than, you know, that we need to do. So then the whole idea was to expedite the sale of the building to the regional district so that we could use it to do some form of education in there for this gap year. So then then the board was very clear to the administration, let's expedite this, let's make it happen. That was being worked on, but then everyone was going, oh, this is going to take too long, and now the latest thing we're hearing is that, oh, maybe the ministry doesn't want to sell this. It has to have approval from the ministry. Maybe the ministry doesn't want to sell the school right now. Well, why wouldn't they if they're not going to operate a school in it anymore? So now it's like we're back to square one, because without control of the building, we can't educate our kids in there next year. And the whole thing that the parents want is continuity. I mean, yes, we're still looking ahead for a Wells model a year from now, but we don't want an empty building for a year. And we want the kids to continue to go to school here for that year. We've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours trying to make this work, and we're like back to square one. So it's, you know, what else do you do? You know, we don't want the building boarded up. We don't want a hole in the center of the community. You know, we want to be able to use that building. We want to educate kids in there. And that's sort of what it's come to. So, I mean, that's, I think, it in a nutshell, really.
I'm thinking things are pretty grave. Last day of school, no plan for September, 2 months away. That's never been done before as far as I know. I mean, don't you need a little bit more notice than, let's see, March, April, I mean, 3 months notice?
Frustrated at the closure and complications with the new alternative school, some have decided to occupy the school until the province and school board review the decision. Parents gained entry into the school gym, where they've set up headquarters.
My name is Ken McNaughton. I'm second generation of three that have attended Dunster School. Starting in 1928 with my dad, we feel that it's a total injustice to close the school that is our anchor.
We are witnessing the tearing down of 94 years of history in one foul decision. The community developed it into a choice school that is accepted around the valley as a very good learning place for our kids. The school board has not and cannot come up with a financial reason backed up by real figures to close this school that has operated at a surplus for numerous years and does not have a declining enrollment. We are asking for a review of the decision to close the school, and therefore we are occupying the school.
So many schools are being closed down across the province. How can the province justify and the school district justify having a school for, so few students?
I think that the closing of rural schools in general is a travesty of our rights to have our children educated in the communities that they live in. And as far as few numbers, we actually have an increasing enrollment every year, so I can't actually agree with that statement. We've never had a decline in enrollment in the last 10 years, and actually we were forecast for 30 students for next year.
Occupying a school is pretty extreme.
Closing a school is very extreme. This community exists because of this school. When the school closes, the community is really threatened.
And this school is why some families are actually living here.
And why some families have moved here specifically to send their kids to this school.
Right. Kids from other schools in the Robson Valley weren't doing well in the schools they were in, and they came to Dunster and they blossomed. There are so many examples of kids who had a hard time in bigger schools, and when they came to Dunster, they were just embraced by this community. They felt welcome. They felt, they had friends right away. Like, there's kids throughout this valley who have attended this school and have such fond memories of the time they spent here.
A travesty indeed. Earlier today, Superintendent Brian Pepper delivered an 8-page document asking the protesters to leave immediately.